To ask you first about the band name. Why are you going to call you Kalahari, like the hottest spot in the world?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And it's not only because we're a very hot metal band, but there's a deep meaning that we give to Kalahari. You know that Kalahari is a desert.
Yes.
That is located in Africa. So this desert is peculiar because in certain areas it rains there, but the soil is made in a way that all the water drains down and the soil drinks all the water and takes it away from animals and people before they can reach it. So what we thought of was a parallel that connects this thing, this very rare thing that happens with our society and how it's structured. We are so overloaded with opportunities and inputs all the time that we get lost looking around, and at the end we die of thirst. We are left with nothing, and maybe we lose what really matters in life. So it's a bit of a metaphor. We love metaphors about our life, our system, the society we live in.
Oh, this is very a very nice input for us, because I thought, Kalahari is just a hot spot in the world, but it is really more. It's really special. So thank you for this explanation.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me something about your lately released EP? It was just a few songs, but your style is very unique. How would you describe your style to a person who doesn't know the band Kalahari right now?
Okay, that's another great question. So we had some troubles because we really wanted, to find a spot inside the whole subgenre world of metal, which is so vast. But in the end, we kind of let people label us, and I would describe us as true heavy metal. So we take shades of different subgenres of metal. We don't really know where they all come from, and sometimes we hear people telling us we sound like System of a Down, and then some other ones tell us that we sound like Lamb of God. But what I want to tell people is, don't have expectations, just listen, because what we want to do with our music is surprise and create emotions, and we go through metal, so we just do what we like.
Yeah. So okay, so you do what you like. That's very nice. So are we right? You take a very unique style, because you already said it's kind of classic metal, but with some new elements. So
Yes.
you, as a person, where do you get your how do you say in English, inspiration, kind of inspiration?
Yes. I'm glad you asked this, because it's really neat for me. I get inspiration, especially for, lyrics, or even just the mood of a song. The composers of the band are mainly me, Gabriele on guitar, and Gino on the other guitar. And usually it's from either images, pictures, or scenarios that we see that, light a spark, an emotion inside of us, or from emotion itself, from a state of mind, and then we reason upon it, and we build around it, and we ask ourselves why, in the first place, we go through this thought. And it's a bit of a trip like that mushroom you see back there. And we really talk about it. Inspiration comes from the most unlikely things in the most unlikely moments. Sometimes I'm in bed and I have an idea and I write it down. But thinking too much about it doesn't give you many results to me. It needs to be natural.
So it's too much brain involved then. So you're really, it sounds really full of emotion and spirituality.
Yes. It's an outcome. Music, it's an outcome for us. It's how we express each other.
I see. I just want to ask you, because the song Follower of the Lich, it drifts thematically in a world of fantasy. So is it this world of emotional fantasy, or is it into a story, a novel, or anything we can't handle right now?
So I told you guys we like metaphors, and what we do is sometimes we take things that we like. For instance, Josh, our bass player, and Gabriele are two big nerds. They like, role games, fantasy video games. So what we do, we take these things that we like and we build stories, with them, and we hide a message inside of it. So the Leech, in this case, is a fantastic creature. It's a non-dead creature that survives off sucking the soul of humans and connecting it to all the social themes that we deal with. It's what we did. It's, people who use other people to gain strength, to gain power. That's the Leech for us.
So, yeah. I see. I get you. I'm a little surprised because you said the band members, kind of nerds, but it doesn't sound very nerdy to me. It sounds very right now because you call it nerdy, but that's okay. So I guess some of our metalheads we're all nerdy, kind of. I just want to ask you, because
it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing,
I say the same, because it makes people very special and unique to be kind of nerdy for others, for the big pork of people. Yeah, that's it. I just want to ask, because you said you're nerdy. I just want to come back to this, because there are a lot of underground bands, and a lot of people, of the mainstream people, say, wait, they are all nerds. They are coming from the underground. They have no idea of music. Would you answer them? So those mainstream people.
I'll answer them that they're ignorant, because there are many mainstream artists that are nerds. Maybe it's a misusage of the word. And the difference between underground music and mainstream music, what we learned is that, of course, to get into the mainstream channels and to the mainstream market, you need to be good. You need to hustle and to strive. But lots of differences are made by money. So I think stereotypes are a good thing, because they give us an idea and we are not scared of the others. And it's better to laugh about someone than being scared of someone, because fear is the plague of the world and of humanity. But also, don't judge.
Yeah. So that's a really good point. Not only for metalheads or musicians or artists, it's a kind of good point for everyone, and everyone should live like this, I guess. It would make a lot of things easier for the whole world. And I just want to come back to this underground thing. So I guess Kalahari is kind of underground, coming from the underground, but there are really a lot of metal bands in Italy. There is a real high quality in Italy of really, really good bands that inspire a lot of other bands, also international. So why do you think there is such a lot of bands in the underground, especially in Italy? Where does it come from?
So my main point about this is that even metal fans are kind of underground in Italy. So you don't seem to see lots of metalheads when you go around, but then there are big concerts and gigs, and they're packed with people. But Italy has an history of mainstream music that is very light, not only for the sonorities, but also for the themes. And metal is not often a light music. It's got a lot of substance. And I think what makes the underground scene so big in Italy is that there is not really a mainstream outage point. If you think about the US or Germany, or northern countries like Norway, for example, even the UK, there were movements of metal that kind of became pioneers and created a subgenre, for example. In Italy, now I see it a little bit with Flash God Apocalypse, for example. It's growing, but metal stayed underground. It's about the genre, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. So, yeah. Yeah, I get you. I get this point of state, yeah. I just want to ask you about the last month in Italy, because we were talking about the underground, the society in Italy. We here in Austria had a strict lockdown, and I know Italy was very hard affected and is still affected to the virus and its consequences. It is sure a thing of money, of course, but how do you act now as musicians in these times, because you just released your EP, there is a time of promoting now, going on tour, promote the songs, take interviews, something like that. How is that infected? How are you infected?
Good question. Let's see. We thought about delaying the release of our EP, but we're a young band, and we want to keep going. We didn't want to get stuck on this, we have so much music already in the process of making new music. So we need to produce. But this was bad. Thank goodness we don't live off this yet. Because in this situation, it would have been a big struggle, and it's been no matter what, because, for instance, I lost a job because of the situation. Other members of the band did, and we ended up having less funds to promote our EP. Also, we are big into lives. We wanted to do a crazy release party, and we were planning on doing a little tour, and now all of that is gone. But these situations are bigger than us. This is what coronavirus taught us, I think, is that we're never in control. Not even of our single life. And I agree with you. There's a lot of fear and a lot of speculation around this. But the truth is that we don't really know, what's going on.
Yeah.
So let's do our best no matter what. Okay,
so we are here. Sound Magneto is here to support you in every in every way we could. Yeah. So and this is off the record.
Okay.
um, so yeah. So this is our main reason why we started this magazine, to support bands like you, also in bad times, and to be just here with kind of promoting and fundraising and stuff like this. Yeah. So it's very important for us
That's
to
fantastic.
support bands like you, because we say you are very, very precious people and need support sometimes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. You are as
So
well.
you are very welcome. Thank you. I just want to ask you, could you
Yes.
use this time in the lockdown for music, for writing music? Was there enough place for emotions to write songs? Because you just said there is a lot of music in the package we could release in a minute. So isn't this kind of stuck? Wasn't this kind of a stuck of your fantasy?
Hmm. That's a good point, but no. To be honest
Oh,
with you,
okay.
it was actually good. I had a lot of inputs for lyrics, and I
Hmm.
had a lot of time. So we used this lockdown period to do a lot of self-focusing, self-digging, and I think we lost some things we could have done because there are aspects of a band that you can only nurture with live shows or rehearsals altogether. But
Yeah.
also, we really reflected on who Kalahari is, who we want to be to our fans, and also we did a lot of improvement, I think, in the perspective of what it means to promote your band with social networks, and how to keep your fans, with
Mhm.
their ears open.
Yeah. See, I see. That's good. So we are going to expect a lot of Kalahari music soon in the near future, and we can't wait for it.
You better, it's
Nicola,
coming.
Nicola, let me say something. Your
Mhm.
voice, I just want to talk about your voice because there are so many facets. You're able to do those high notes, very clear, very, very nice sound, but you also do
Thank
the
you.
growling. So
Huh?
this is amazing. So how do you train your voice? Do you take lessons or is it just a God-given?
I wish it were. No, jokes apart. I was always very inclined to singing,
Hmm.
especially those cleaner notes you hear. Um, that's the aspect, the shade of my voice that I discovered first. I did study. Right now, I'm not going to lessons, but throughout my singing career, I worked a lot on it. But there's always more to do, and I'm really glad you enjoy my vocals. I take pride in them, and hearing that someone digs them for me is the biggest satisfaction ever. But let's see. I sang in a choir, for example. I was a tenor,
Okay.
53 people during high school in the US. I did a year of school in the US. And before that, I always sang, just kind of for the sake of it. I played guitar with my first band, and there was no singer, so I sang, and I liked it, but I wasn't really, 100% aware of what I was doing. Then after this experience, I went to class here in my hometown with a teacher who taught me what the bel canto italiano is, so a very
Yeah.
classical, approach to it, which you
Hmm.
can probably hear in some shades. For example, the cleaner parts of our song Theia, or some higher notes. I'm followers of the Leech or I am the mountain. And then I wanted to get to scream and growl and make distorted sound, because Kalahari, I felt like Kalahari needed it. I previously used another screaming technique, but I wasn't satisfied with the how could you know, how understandable it was. How I want it to be just my voice with a distortion pedal. I want you to understand everything I say, because for us, for Kalahari, it's so important to deliver the message, you know. So I went to class with a very great teacher who taught me extreme vocals. I still have to learn so much. His name is Alessandro, and he used to sing in Figure 6, very good Italian band, metal band. And I'm still learning, but I use a fry scream. I warm up a lot. And I also do cool downs. And my suggestion is go and see a professionist, learn from the best. It's dangerous. You can hurt your voice, and warm up and cool down. Your vocal folds are like muscles.
Okay, that's very interesting. Very interesting story behind, because some say no, it's just God given, and I don't do anything for my voice. So this is a very honest statement from you here. So
you have to work your ass off.
Yeah. Okay, I want to know, Michael, our editor who wrote a review for your EP, said he hears some James Hetfield. You know, I have to ask this question because I'm a really big Metallica fan, and I recognized there was a flag from Metallica behind you when you sent us greetings from your room. Yeah, I can see it now, you know, just for our readers. I can see Nicola on a video right now, and I see the Metallica flag behind him now too. So what is James Hetfield kind of idol for you, or is it just Metallica because they're idols for nearly every metal band? I was talking reading interviews about.
He is for sure. You caught me. You caught me. You see this t-shirt, it says life is ours, we live it our way, and it's a verse from Nothing Else Matters. Metallica was definitely my first big love in metal, and I still think they are the best, you know. And I think they're not the godfathers of metal, but the ones who brought metal to the ears of everybody. They made metal mainstream, and for me that's a great thing, you know. They made it available to everybody. And I don't know, it's just one of those bands. You think of Metallica, there are so many other bands that are more technical, maybe better musicians, but they don't have that spark. And I think James Hetfield has that spark. He doesn't have such a crazy vocal range, but he created his own unique vocal style. You can recognize him right away, and now everyone copies him. And that's what I aim for. That's why he's my idol. And, you know, I love everything about Metallica. I've seen them live many times. They're my big metal love.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going to be friends for life now, Nicola, because we both love Metallica. You can't get rid of me right now. So, you know, I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on Kalahari. So just a question. Have you been to Imola, to the Heineken Jam Festival in the early 2000s? Did you see Metallica there live?
No, I did not, because I was a baby. I was born in 97, and in the early 2000s, I was probably 6 or 7. My first Metallica concert was in 2011 with the Big Four.
Yeah, okay. So I was there too. I was there too for the Big Four, and I was there in Imola at German Heineken Festival too, and it was amazing to see the Italian crowd, because I think the Italian crowd is one of the best in the world. What do you say? It's just a question I have to ask, because I guess you have a lot of you played a lot of concerts in front of Italian crowds, but you said you were to the stage. Do you see a difference in the mentality, or that?
For sure. I've recently been to a concert in the US, in California, and an Italian band was playing, actually, Lacuna Coil. They were headlining tour with All That Remains, And I agree with you. It's not just Italians. I think we are great singers, and we are diehard fans, even if there are not so many of us. I think it's something peculiar of um, people who come from a Latin culture. Because if you think about Southern America, for example, their crowds are crazy too. You know, it's insane. But
Yes.
I see what you caught in during Heineken German Festival, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you like this.
Yeah, I really do like it. So, and there's a lot of love for Lacuna Coil because I saw them live too there at the same festival before Metallica, and it was amazing to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I have some more questions to you. We were talking about musician, artists, Italian artists. Ennio Morricone just passed away a few days ago in the lucky age of 91 years. For me, he's one of the most famous musicians of his decade. He was a lovely person. I met him once when he performed in Vienna, and it hit me very hard to see it, to see he passed away. So I loved his compositions. Is he also one of your heroes, although he did a lot of classical music and not this kind of metal music like Metallica?
First of all, may the maestro rest in peace. Um, you know, every Italian should be proud to have had such a great artist in our coming from our country, and not definitely in the way that I think as Metallica as my idols, but you know, it's Ennio Morricone. He gave
Yeah.
so much to cinema. I think about the Western movies, and if we want to talk about Metallica again, let's think about the ecstasy of gold. Some people may
Yes.
not know where that comes from, but the emotion that the Maestro Morricone could put and into music and let it flow even without words. Sometimes it's just something incredible, and I'm really sad we're not gonna get uh, anymore, but we'll carry it with us forever. So we should be proud of having Ennio Morricone as an Italian artist. He definitely contributed, and we admire him as a band, not just me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
this was a lot of talking, Nicola. I have to come to a conclusion. We talked about past and future, inspirations, idols. Metallica took some time in this interview, also Ennio Morricone. So is there anything you want to tell our German readers and listener? Do you talk, can you speak German?
No, unfortunately,
No.
I cannot. My father is very good at German, so I know a tiny bit, but I can't really speak German. I couldn't have a full conversation.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you first of all to Sound Magnet and to all your listeners. It's very important for us to deliver our music. We are nothing without you. Our voice cannot be heard without your ears. And also, Ut Kalahari weiter und bleibe doch Metal.
Yeah. That was
Schön.
good. Yeah, sounds good. You should practice this German when you come to Vienna. People would love you.
I should.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. So I hope to see you soon in live. I hope to see your bands performing live. I hope the world is coming out of this trouble soonish so we can have kind of normal living and enjoy a lot of music. Yeah.
We
So
cannot wait.
yeah, I guess so. So let me know. The last word is yours. What is the next plans for Kalahari? What can we count with?
Lots of things coming for us. We have some new merchandising coming, crazy t-shirts, the physical copy of our EP Theia, and then we got some shows coming up. We're trying to do our best to pull off some shows even in this, you know, difficult situation. And I promise you there is new music coming soon. We're thinking about what the next big step is, but we have so much meat on the fire already, and we can't wait to make it happen.